Hey, good afternoon. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. We are here for Beard on King episode 3, where I dig deep into Stephen King's work. We started with Billy Summers. That was my episode 1. I went all the way back to Salem's Lot for episode 2. And now we're going to talk about later, but we're not going to talk about it right now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Stupid dad jokes. I mean, you cannot help that. You cannot escape the dad jokes. Anyway, we're going to talk about Later by Stephen King. First, I love the hard case crime look. He's done a handful of books like this, Joyland and The Colorado Kid. It shows them both right there. This came out in 2021, so it was a new book that, I'll be honest with you, I don't keep up with what's on the up, what's coming out from him. But this one really surprised me. Like when I saw this drop, I was like, shit, I didn't even know that was in the works. But it's called Later. It is about a young boy, Jamie Conklin, and he can see dead people. I know. I have the same thoughts every damn time when someone writes a story about a kid that can see dead people. And I had that thought, and I was like, shit, again, right? But it's good. It's really good. Like after that initial thought, I just kind of let it go and I let the story roll, and I enjoyed it. Now, what I will tell you is that Stephen King tells us multiple times throughout this book that this is a horror story. And he ain't told us that in a while, right? I don't know if he ever told us that. Maybe he has. We're going to find out as I dig back into all these books. But this one, he tells you multiple times. Like he keeps coming back to it. But I told you, this is a horror story. I'll give you an example right here at the opening. It kind of jumps to a part in the book, and this is just like the opening. See if I can find it. I may not even be able to find the damn thing. Hold up. Here we go. Marsden's house came. This is just like a little opening. It's not even a prologue. Marsden's house came into view. It was like one of those Hollywood Hills mansions you see in the movies, big and jutting out over the drop. The side facing us was all glass. The house that heroin built, Liz sounded vicious. There was one more curve before we came to the paved yard in front of the house. Liz drove around it, and I saw a man in front of the double garage where Marsden's fancy cars were. I opened my mouth to say it must be Teddy, the gatekeeper, but then I saw his mouth was gone. And given the red hole where his mouth had been, he hadn't died a natural death. Like I said, this is a horror story. He does this multiple times. He tells us this is a horror story. Again, our main character, Jamie Conklin, can see dead people. And he can ask them things. And the dead people have to tell you the truth if you ask them a question. For example, we open on a innocent, benign scene of him and his mother visiting a neighbor who has recently lost his wife. Jamie can see the wife. She's still there. She died of natural causes or something like that. I'm not going to you're not going to split hairs over that, but she just died, right? And I think she had early onset Alzheimer's. So in the process of death, she like her mind was kind of all over the place, right? And they couldn't find her rings. I think it was her rings. Couldn't find her rings. Couldn't find her wedding rings. Couldn't find them anywhere. And like she had like placed them back in the coat closet, like behind some shit on the top shelf. Just completely nonsensible or whatever, didn't make sense, place to put them. And she had done that, and he was able to find that and somehow slip that information to his mother and to the grieving man. And it's a pretty little scene. But anyway, so that's how we learn he can see dead people. His mother is like a literary agent. She's she's in the publishing industry, and one of her clients, or her most successful client, writes these books, and they're waiting on the final one, and it's going to be a big book, and this book will pay the bills for them for a while, and he dies, and it's not done. And Jamie has the ability to talk to the guy and get the gist of the story and relay it to his mother, and his mother has the skill, or enough skill, so to speak, to put the final book together, and thus be able to pay the bills for a few more years. But we live with this. We live with Jamie being able to see dead people. And, he sees them as they were at the end of their life. So if their head was partially blown off, he sees them with their head partially blown off. If they were, so if they died normally, he sees them normally, but he sees them constantly. And so Jamie's mother has a girlfriend going through the book. Her name is Liz. She is a detective. We do not really pick up early that she is a dirty cop, but there's one point where Liz, or Jamie's mom, finds heroin, that she has brought heroin into their house, and she's, it's evidence, it's whatever, it's, but she's running drugs, and so they split. That's it. But Liz knows about Jamie's deal. She never really believed it, but she's put in situations where if it's true, he can really help her out, right? I mean, a guy that can see dead people could be very, very beneficial to a policewoman. It could also be very, very non-beneficial to, let's say, a murderer. I mean, if you can walk in and see the person that was killed and they can tell you who killed him, that could be quite a bad situation for a murderer. But ultimately, Liz, there is a killer in the town, in the city. It's a bomber. It's like, it's been putting bombs all over places, and the police get on his trail and whatever. But Jamie has the ability to or gets the opportunity to find out where the final bomb is going to be, and this final bomb is going to kill a bunch of people. It saves a bunch of lives, right? But this one's a little bit different. While the dead fade, the normal dead after they tell their secrets or whatever, or don't, they fade. They fade after hours, a day, a couple days at most, right? But this one sticks a bit, sticks around with Jamie, and that's another piece of the story. But it's just it's a cool story. I mean, it's got a very, very strong edge of the seat type of ending. It tells you it's horror, and it is. I mean, we see Ghost. We're getting information from Ghost, but I mean, it does feel more of a crime, more of a hard case crime than like a traditional Stephen King horror book or a traditional gore fest horror book or whatever. But it's fun, and I really enjoyed it. And it's been a while since I've dug into a new Stephen King and just really, really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I think, again, if this was an 800-page tome, I don't think I would have liked it as much. It's only 200 and, let's see here. I think it's like 250 pages, 263 pages roughly. It's fun. I did the audio for it, and yes, I did buy a hard copy because I have to. But the audio is really good too. The guy that does the narration, I don't know his name, and I'm not going to take the time to look it up. But it's really good. I did it on Scribd. So this is later. Hard Case Crime, Stephen King, a new novel from Stephen King, March 2021. It was fun. I'm already working on Beard on King episode 4, and we're going to go straight into Joyland. And then I think I'm going to circle all the way back to The Shining. But anyway, Later by Stephen King. This has been, I didn't really rate it. I think I'm at 4. I'm going to give this one 4. I gave Billy Summers 3. We went all the way up to 5 with Salem's Lot. I'm going to give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, even though it kind of, I see dead people, right? But after that, it was great. So Later by Stephen King. This is Well Read Beard. This has been Beard on King. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.